Hello, Hannah. We have other people joining in. Let's see how many people we get on today. I see a lot of people. Hello, Tina. I know Tina was excited to be here. Hello, Heather. Hello, Jane. Um, who else do I see here? Brittany, Dina's been on the lam, but she's back. Miss Monica Davis, I see you. In your car. I think you're in the car? No. Oh, okay. Look about you. Whatever. Anyway, you're here. Hi, nice to see you. Hi, Helen. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Suzanne. You've been on the lam too. You guys think I don't notice when you don't show up. I got my eyes on you. I got my eyes on you. We're gonna wait another minute as people enter the room. Kathy, Tina, Terry, hello. All my friends. It's nice to see everybody. We finally have a sunny day here. Kimberly, I was in Punta Cana. Okay, now calm down. We don't want to be jealous. Michael, great. Awesome. Lynn, off camera, but here. Dana Malone, off camera, but here. This meeting is being recorded. I'm going to put this down. So I'm so excited to have my guest here today, Chatsoni Brooks. We became friendly over the past couple of years. She was one of my first supporters of the Nest and the program. And of course, I always love connecting with other female entrepreneurs who are tech savvy. I love that part. Hi, Mary Beth. Hi, Francis. Hi, Deb is here, but off camera. Colleen, Eliza. Lillian, you've been missing too. Um, so I'm excited about this for many different reasons, but mostly because I think Chatsoni has come up with a product that takes out the pain that I have felt with multiple. I have built several different websites, and I don't mean I have built, I have hired people to build my websites. Um, the first iteration of the Good Sense bookkeeping website, I think, was in Flash, which is like doesn't work on the internet anymore. It was cute, had a little animation. Then we redid it in just straight HTML. Then I rebuilt it again in WordPress. Um, then there might have been another redesign in there somewhere. Definitely three under Good Sense Bookkeeping. And then remember, we rebranded from Good Sense Bookkeeping to Good Sense Management. And then, of course, I built the website for JustineLackey.com, which was kind of just, we like slapped it together without more, like we didn't have product verification yet. Like we didn't know if the brand was going to work or the program. And it's a lot of work. I think people are like, oh, I need to make a website. And I was like, all right, so has anybody built a website and has been shocked? If you've built a website and been shocked by the amount of work involved, please raise your hand and hold it up there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, and even our web designers, like, yeah, me, which is probably why you're answering the call. So, the other thing is that we speak a very specific language as bookkeepers and accountants, and I don't think every web designer, and definitely not every copywriter, can come in and assist us in a way that helps us speak to our audience, who helps us convey that, Um, you don't want, I mean, you don't want like a very, very busy website, super text heavy website, when really what you're trying to communicate is clarity, right? So these are like the design inconsistencies and things. So I'm excited to have our guest here today. She has a little slideshow and presentation. As usual, we're going to keep it light. Drop your questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring them. Chatsoni, I like to keep it loose. So I might interrupt you and be like, hey, wait, just pause. You don't have to unshare your screen because I can get weird with Zoom, but just if I want to drive home a point, and just drawing on my own experience so that we can convey to all these magnificent people here a particular point of learning. So I don't want you to be alarmed or think that I'm rude if I hit the pause button. So okay, so turn it over to you. Please spotlight All right. And she's also a mother of three, a working mom of three, which, after my own heart. You said 2, 4, and 6.
Yes, 2, 4, and 6.
Okay. Everybody just give her a round of applause. Big,
Thank you, thank
big
you.
circles. Okay, over to you.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much, Justine. Let me go ahead and figure out how to share my screen again.
Introduce yourself. Give us your background.
Yes, so my name is Chatsoni. I'm the owner of Websites for Bookkeepers. After surviving my first tax season, I was a bookkeeper myself for a year, survived my first tax season, and I love you guys so much, but I cannot do what you do. I did not enjoy it one bit. Not one bit. Chasing clients for financials and all of that. It was just too much. And I decided to just support other bookkeepers with launching their websites instead, since that was kind of my favorite part of the process of building my business. So that's what I do now, and I've been doing it. I just hit 6 years in business April the 30th. So I've been doing this a while. I enjoy it, and I get to work with some really awesome bookkeepers in the process.
Yes. Now surpass the longevity of 2/3 of business. So
Yes.
strive for that. Yes.
Thank you. So let me,
Dive in.
oh, there we go. Okay.
Canva requires too many buttons to share a screen.
It is a lot.
And you
Um,
can't turn on the magic cursor either. So
there we go. I figured it out.
beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm Jasani. I specialize in helping virtual bookkeepers avoid the 3 reasons that a lot of websites fail. And I'm here to help you avoid these if you haven't launched your website yet. And if you already did launch your website, then I'm going to show you how to fix those things. So before we dive in, I would really like to know and kind of get a feel for how many of you that already have your website really feel like it's working for you and helping you kind of get the results that you're looking for in your business.
Okay, so if you have a website that's working for you, put a 1 in the chat. If you have a website that you don't think is working for you, put a 5 in the chat. Oh.
And Justine, I really need your help because I cannot see the chat.
Okay, well, there's a lot of five. I didn't see any 1s. I saw a
Okay.
lot of 5s. I saw a few 3s, but mostly 5s. No website,
Okay.
not a bit.
Yeah.
Megan, how many people do we have in the room right now? Should have thrown a poll up.
We got 80 people, so
Yeah, majority of the people are all 5s. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, huge.
Yeah, and that's totally normal. I don't want anyone who put a 5 in the chat to feel bad. That's completely normal, and that's why we're here today, so that I can help you kind of shift that, and so that the next time somebody asks you that question, you can put a 1 and say that you feel like your website is getting you the results that you want.
Beautiful.
So, starting off with a quote that a bookkeeper told me a while back. She said that anyone can launch a website, but what she needed help with was getting clients. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. She did like a lot what a lot of bookkeepers and business owners in general try to do. She built her own website, she launched it, and then she just waited. Weeks went by, nothing happened. She didn't get any calls, any leads, and she didn't get any new clients. And I feel like this is a common theme across a lot of bookkeepers that I talk to because anyone can make a website, but not everyone can build a website that actually brings in business and supports your business and gets your messaging across the right way.
100%.
So here's why most websites don't deliver. And here's what a lot of business owners, especially the bookkeepers that I help, do. They spend time or money, or maybe even both, building and creating a website. They launch it and then it's just crickets. They're not getting any traffic, they're not getting any leads, and they feel really frustrated and they probably feel a bit discouraged and unmotivated and kind of questioning why they started the business if they're not getting the results that they wanted. So naturally, they start to feel like they did something wrong. They might question whether or not it was the design, the messaging, if they used the wrong platform, because we know there are a ton of different platforms out there. And you might feel like maybe that was the reason. But the truth is usually not a lack of effort or the fact that you didn't do what you were supposed to do, because launching a website is important. It's just the fact that a lot of websites are missing 3 key things that are needed to actually make a website work. So that's what we're going to talk about today so that you can avoid these mistakes or fix them if you're already seeing them on your site. And I guess a quick question would be, does anyone have any idea of what these 3 things could be? 3 reasons or even just 1 reason that a website wouldn't work for you. Any guesses in the chat?
I'm on mute, sorry. So Renee Barlow said call to action. That's also known as a CTA. Bad SEO, SEO, no contact form, no good SEO words, ranking, doesn't attract the clients you want, too clunky, no contact info, messaging, too busy, which I think is like a design thing from Heather,
Yeah.
overwhelming, word vomit on the site. Vomit. Otherwise, vomit's my kryptonite. I defer to the word salad. So I'm going with word salad, but I'm with you because I'm not a fan of a tech-savvy website.
Yeah, and those are all great answers and great responses. And I do feel that everyone that listed something is right, but we're going to kind of break those down into categories. So let's break it down into the 3 reasons why a lot of bookkeeping websites fail in helping you attract the types of clients that you do want. So the first one is unclear messaging, unprofessional design, and a lack of traffic. And I feel like a lot of the comments that everyone listed falls into one of those 3 buckets. So a lot of things that I hear over and over again when someone comes to me is that their website just isn't doing anything. But each of these things are fixable. So instead of guessing what's wrong, we're going to walk through all 3, what's causing the problem and how to fix it. So we're going to dive into the first one, which is unclear messaging. So your message is the foundation of your website. I want you guys to think of this as a conversation with a potential client. If someone lands on your homepage, they should immediately understand who you are, what you do, who you help, and how to take the next step with you. If any of that's unclear, you're going to leave people confused, and confused people don't convert into clients. So, a quick question that I have for you all is when someone visits your site right now, would they immediately know within the first 5 seconds who your bookkeeping business serves? So, this might be your niche or the type of clients that you want to attract. Would they automatically recognize themselves when they read your messaging? And do they automatically understand how it can help them? So, what the benefit is when it comes to your bookkeeping services and what you offer? Because a lot of people, I'm sure you guys know this, don't really understand what a bookkeeper does. They kind of just know that it's related to accounting and taxes, but they don't really understand the work that you guys do and the value that you guys offer. So I'm curious to know if anyone feels like their messaging is clearly communicating that value.
Anybody, do you feel like your messaging is spot on? Do you feel like it's a little fuzzy? Hannah says, Jess says no. Brad says no. Yes on the landing page, but not for not for who? Nope. I think so. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's completely fine. The fact that it's not a confident yes, I don't want you guys to worry because this is something that is easy to fix. So it all starts with clarifying your marketing message, and that's very important because I know a lot of you guys know what you do and the value you offer, but it's hard for you to communicate that with your clients and potential clients. So clarifying your message is the first step I recommend before anyone even thinks about building their website. And you can think of this at, like your website messaging, think of it as your chart of accounts for your business and your marketing. It's the foundation that everything else is built on. So if your message is unclear and unorganized, the rest of your marketing isn't going to really make sense. And if writing about yourself or trying to communicate your value into words that your potential clients can really understand feels a bit awkward or overwhelming to you, then you're definitely not alone. I feel like everyone struggles with that at a certain point. And I've had a lot of people tell me, like, I've actually had a client tell me that writing her website content felt like pulling teeth. And I'm sure a lot of you can probably relate to that and feel the same way. So that's why I created this website messaging questionnaire.
I'm just going to pause
Yeah.
you right there. So if you didn't already get the worksheet, Megan's pulling that and we'll drop it in the chat.
Oh,
But when
perfect.
I was talking about the work part, I think the work part is a huge piece of that is the copy,
Hmm.
and just really, you don't want to write a word too many or a word too less, but this worksheet will help. Okay. Anyway, I have coffee. Go ahead.
Thank you, Justine. So I'm glad that everyone should already have access to the worksheet, and that if you don't, then you're dropping the link in the chat, because it's going to be super, super helpful and help you kind of clarify your marketing message and take the first step to improving your website today. It's a questionnaire walking you through everything that your potential clients will kind of need to know when they visit your site, and then you can use that down the line to upgrade or improve your website content. So we talked about the first thing, which is the messaging, and everyone will have that resource so that they can take action right away. So once you have a clear message, the next thing that you want to focus on is your design. And this is super important because studies show that 94% of first impressions are based on design, and that impression is made quickly, less than a second. So it's important to get right. So if your website looks outdated, cluttered, I know someone said word vomit, and Justine will say word salad for you, because you know you don't like that word, but that's something that is related to the design. If you have too much content and it doesn't fit the layout and things like that, having a lot of pop-ups, making the website look a bit spammy, all of these things are related to your website design and can have a negative first impression on the potential clients that you're trying to attract. So it doesn't really matter how good you are at what you do. And I feel like if most of you guys, you're working with Justine, you have your certification in QuickBooks or Xero, whatever platform and software that you're using, you guys are putting in the work to establish your credibility and get your education so that you can serve clients. But if they don't see that from your website, you can be kind of moving people away and kind of discouraging them from working with you. That's your first impression, and you want to make sure that you get it right. And if you're not getting it right away, you're kind of losing trust with potential clients before they even get to meet with you or talk to you. And it's possible that you're not even knowing that it's happening.
Can I just pause you right here?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that this is a public event, so we have some people that are just from our Facebook group or
Okay.
on our list, but we also have members of my program for bookkeepers and accountants called the Nest, right? And so that's why I help bookkeepers and accountants grow their businesses. And there's actually a lesson inside of the Nest about first impressions. So
Oh, wonderful.
I'm pausing you guys here because we talk a lot about it, right? What is that first impression? It used to be, okay, your first impression was, meeting somebody at a networking event or a conference. Now the challenge is that your first impression can happen anywhere. It can
Mm-hmm.
happen on LinkedIn, it can happen on Instagram, it can happen at a networking event, and it can also happen on your website. But the thing is that all roads always lead to your website. So if somebody sees you on LinkedIn and they're curious, what are they going to do? They're going to go to your website. Somebody sees an Instagram post, what are they going to do? Link in bio, go to your website. Somebody meets you at a networking event, what are they going to do? First, they're probably going to look you up on LinkedIn, and then you're going to go to your website. So this piece does not surprise me at all about the 94%. I now feel like I need to go update the Nest with this statistic because I'm like, see, I was right. But it's a really big piece. The other thing I want to just say here is as bookkeepers and accountants, people come to us and they ask for our expertise, and they sometimes think they can just do it themselves, right? And they want to DIY their own books. Well, we know what ends up happening there is that even if you teach them, they're not going to do their books. They're going to come back to you in 3 months and ask you to do a cleanup project for them. It's the same thing with the website. I understand that we might have this inner desire to try to DIY it. There are sort of a lot of plug and play programs out there. I don't think it's a good idea. And in our community, in my coaching programs, I talk about you pay for everything in MTE, money, time, or energy. So you can pay somebody to make a beautiful website that's not going to put you in that 94%, or you can design a website and do it DIY it, and you're going to pay for it in time and energy, and you're going to be in that 94%, and it's still not going to do any of those things that you want, convert, etc. So it's just something to give very serious consideration to, and to take your time with it so that you get it right. back to you.
No, thank you. You're totally right with that. And to kind of piggyback on what you said, I know that like building your own website can be very tempting, especially if you have like a friend or family member that's creative, or you find somebody on one of those freelancing sites that can do it super cheap, or if you just feel like, why am I paying for a website if I can do it myself? But the thing that I try to communicate with people is similar to how like a website builder, like using QuickBooks or having some type of bookkeeping software doesn't make your client a bookkeeper. Having a website building platform like Wix or
Oh,
Squarespace isn't going to make you a web designer. It's a tool, but you don't have the education and strategy behind it, if that makes sense.
it's a beautiful analogy. Well
Thank
said.
you.
Yeah.
So back to the website being your first impression, just the importance of it. Like a clean professional design is going to show that you're legit, you're trustworthy, and you're serious about your business. And those are all qualities that are important for a bookkeeper to have, especially when it comes to attention to detail. You want to make sure that things are making sense on your site, that you're not having typos, that you don't have a weird looking layout that's kind of weird on mobile, things like that. You want to make sure that people see that professionalism before they even hop on a call with you.
All right,
And as
pause, because client education here. Having a website that is mobile friendly is very important. And so what that means is like your website has to be able to be viewed on a browser on somebody's computer, but then it has to be able to be viewed on somebody's phone. And if your website, I don't know if this is still true, Chatsoni, if you correct me if I'm wrong, if your website is not mobile friendly, Google will ding you.
that is very true, yes.
Yeah. So in terms of DIYing your website, that's one of those things where you might not be able to, because there is tricks to making your website mobile friendly. So
Mhm.
back to you again.
Thank you, Justine. But yeah, that's definitely true. SEO likes mobile-friendly websites because a lot of people nowadays are doing everything from their phone. They're on the go. So if your website isn't currently mobile-friendly, that could be having a downside on your SEO when it comes to potential clients finding you on Google. So all of this doesn't mean that you have to hire a professional. As much as I would encourage it, I understand that everyone's budgets and what they're able to do in their stage of business is different. So maybe if you're not able to hire a professional to build your website, having a professional review your website and kind of do like similar to how you might do a diagnostic review and have a list of items that you can do to kind of improve and help you reach your goals and overcome these challenges would be extremely helpful for you and save you a lot of time and money in the long run. Because I feel like while people can be like stuck tweaking colors and fonts and layouts, because you don't have the guidance that you need to get to the certain point to make sure that your website is professional and making a good impression, that's time that you're wasting where you could be getting clients. Any questions about a professional design before I jump into the next slide?
Don't forget, friends, you can drop questions in the chat and we'll have a little Q&A session at the end.
Okay, so all of this, as far as the website design, is to kind of say that your website is not just a digital business card, because I get that a lot when people say, oh, I just need it up for credibility. If somebody finds me from a networking event, they just want to know that I exist. And I feel that if all your website does is share your contact information, you're missing a real opportunity to make a connection. And I tell clients that every strategic website should check off these 3 C's. So these C's are connection, so the right people immediately can feel like they're in the right place when they land on your website. Confidence, so that the people who land on your site can trust that you can solve their problem and help them reach their goal. They trust you, they see that you're credible, that you know what you're talking about, that you're not just a random person doing bookkeeping with no type of certifications or experience. And then the last one is conversions, so that there is a clear path for them to take the next step and become a client and work with you or stay in touch so that you can nurture them if they're not ready to hire you just yet.
I just want to
So,
pause there because we know marketing language, but
mhm,
that's what you're always trying to do. You're always looking for that conversion, right? Conversion in the case of a website, what you're really trying to get them to do is to complete your contact form.
mhm,
You might have a freebie, right? download my bookkeeping guide for construction workers or construction companies. So that's your CTA, right? We called about that, the call to action. Call to action leads them to converting into completing it. What are they doing? So call to action on LinkedIn might be visit my website. You complete that button. So just want to make sure that we're communicating the vocabulary so that they have it forever.
Thank you. And I know I can kind of forget about that. But yes, conversions are just having people take the next step to connect with you. So for someone who doesn't take phone calls, and it might like unscheduled phone calls, it might be filling out your Calendly scheduler, booking that free consultation. For someone who's not quite ready to work with you yet, it might be signing up for your email list to get your newsletter if you're sending out email blasts every week or every month. Just a way to kind of stay in touch with you until they're ready to take the next step and become a client. And I feel like when your website checks all of those 3 boxes, so all of the 3 C's, the connection, confidence, and conversions, then your website goes from being just a business card to being a 24/7 marketing tool that can be helping you book calls and communicating your value before you even have a conversation with them. And I feel like that's super helpful and kind of streamlines your marketing so that you're doing more work for your clients and serving your clients and building your business and kind of just working on the business instead of being in it all of the time. So let's say your messaging is crystal clear, you have a professional design, and you're still not getting the results you want. The third reason could be a lack of traffic. And this all ties back into marketing. Because if your site is live, it doesn't mean that people are just magically going to find it. You still have to put some work in to get people to know that your website exists. So this is why marketing is so important. And the key to your marketing is staying visible and consistent and making sure that you're showing up where your clients and potential clients are showing up. So, social media scheduling tools and maybe even content marketing memberships for bookkeepers can help you post consistently and share helpful content to help drive traffic back to your site. But let's say you're focused more on networking locally. Things like having your Google business profile set up can help drive traffic to your site. Attending networking events, handing out your business cards, and making sure that your website is on your business cards. You'd be surprised how many people just have a phone number and email but don't have their website link on their cards. So things like that can help you drive traffic to your website so that people can learn more about you, what you do, how you can help so that they can take the next step. And I feel like this is important to mention because I know a lot of people kind of do the busy work of launching their site. And then when it comes to actually marketing and putting themselves out there, that's kind of where they kind of back down a bit and feel uncomfortable. But even the best website is not going to work if no one sees it. And you don't want to spend a bunch of money or time working on your website if you're not going to do what it takes to have people see it and know that it exists. So with marketing, I know there are a lot of gurus and ads you see on Facebook and Instagram selling marketing services, but I want to share 5 ways you can start driving traffic to your website today without spending a ton of money. So the first easy thing you can do, probably like even right now or as soon as this call ends, is to update your social media profiles. Have the link to your website on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, um, any bios that you have. Just make sure that your website is there. Or if you have a Facebook business page or anything like that, make sure that you have your website tied to it. Because I don't know about you, but I'm famous for finding somebody on Facebook and going to their profile and seeing like what information they have there and how to contact them. And there are a lot of even business pages that don't have their website link up there. So that's a quick and easy thing you can do. The second one would be your email signature. Take the time to add your website link to your email signature. You're already sending emails out to clients or maybe even leads and prospects. So make sure that even if they don't reply back, they have a way to learn more about you. Another thing, and this has been super helpful for me in growing my business over the years, has been to share helpful posts in Facebook groups. And when I say to share helpful posts and information in groups, I don't mean just spamming your link every time somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a bookkeeper. Don't just drop your link with no context. I'm saying to answer questions, offer value, and help point people in the right direction. And then just share the link to your website when it's relevant or you feel like they're interested in taking the next step to work with you or kind of make a connection and contact you. Another thing, for example, if you already have a website and you're blogging, making those articles and publishing them to your site, you can use those and repurpose them into social media posts. Same things with frequently asked questions. I'm sure you guys have a ton of like if you have clients already or have been having these consultations, you probably have like a wealth of knowledge in your inbox right now, just from questions people have been asking you. You can take that information and questions and post them on social media and just show people that you know what you're talking about and kind of answer commonly asked questions that you get and redirect people to your site that way. And then the final thing, this is the only one that is paid but is affordable. If you decide to outsource your social media content, there are content memberships like Social Accountant, Rise Media, and a few others that offer social media content memberships where they write the captions for you, they handle the graphics for you. All you have to do is schedule and post them, and that can help you stay consistent and drive traffic to your website without spending a bunch of time sitting at your computer trying to figure out what to say and how to design things in Canva, because I know that can be like a huge time suck. So you don't have to do all of these at once. I would just say pick one or two things and you can literally get started today or sometime this week, because even a little bit of visibility goes a long way towards helping your website do its job. So hopefully those 5 ideas were helpful.
Justine,
Mhm.
Rebecca Williams in the chat is saying, what are the names of the companies you just listed? I know Social Accountant was one.
Mhm.
Can you repeat those and then we could just drop them in the chat? Social Accountant.
Social Accountant and Rise Media. Another one is Puckapith Content, and I can share the links as well if that would be helpful after the call.
Sure.
So those are
I'm here, but if
3.
you have like
Yeah.
affiliate links, drop them in the chat. We'll give you a second to pull those.
Okay.
Okay. Amy Loveland, I love Social Accountant. Hooray. Carry on.
Yes. Yep. So all of those are helpful tools to save you time when it comes to creating your content, because that's a huge thing that people get stuck up on. Okay, so we covered the 3 reasons websites fail, and we shared some resources and ideas on how to overcome those things. So bringing it all together, just to do a quick recap, the 3 things you need to make sure that your website is getting you the results you want is to make sure you have a clear message so that you're attracting the right people, a professional design so that you can build that connection, confidence, and conversions with those ideal clients, and then a consistent marketing strategy that brings traffic to your website. So when you build your site with those 3 pieces in place, it's going to stop being just a digital business card that's just sitting there kind of collecting virtual dust and be more of a marketing tool for your business to help your business grow to the point that you want it to get to. And the first step towards doing this, whether you haven't launched your website yet or want to improve your existing site, is to start with the worksheet. So if your site's not doing what it's currently supposed to be doing, the website messaging questionnaire will help you lay the foundation so that you can make sure that your website converts. And this is the exact tool I use with my clients before building anything, because without a clear message, the design really doesn't matter. You can use your answers to update your content yourself, or if you had someone build your site, maybe share it with your website professional and they can help you adjust the content for you. And if you've been meaning to get your website online but haven't had the time, or maybe you felt overwhelmed by all of the different options out there and all of the tech and all of the extra stuff that kind of goes into it that you didn't really know existed, then I have a service called the Website in a Box template, where it saves you time and gives you a head start. So I would take care of the website setup for you, install a website template designed specifically for bookkeepers, and I would connect the domain name, basically all of the technical bits and pieces that people get hung up on. I would take care of that for you, and then you'd be able to just go in and customize it with your logo, text, and brand colors. So this would eliminate you needing to start from scratch. And as well as the website being set up for you, you'd also get access to an AI copywriting assistant to help you take that completed questionnaire and turn it into the copy for your website, which will be super helpful. Because once you have all of your answers and information kind of brain dumped into that worksheet, you're probably going to need help cleaning it up and kind of putting it onto your website. So with the use of AI, I use ChatGPT for that. It would help you take care of that and save probably hours trying to do it yourself. So if that sounds like what you need, I have the QR code on the screen so that you can use Justine's affiliate link to get a special discount on the offer. Currently, it's normally $397, but with Justine's affiliate link, there's a coupon already applied for you to save $100, so it'll just be $297.
Amazing. Can we go back just a smidge?
Mm-hmm.
And Megan's also going to drop she dropped the link already because she's Megan and she's amazing. I want you to, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes, let me figure out where to go. There we go.
Well,
now I can see everybody.
No, I don't think you stopped sharing because we can still see your camera. There you go. Okay. So you mentioned something very small there that our friends who have never built a website realize, but connecting the domain name. Can you explain that a little bit and why that why that can go sideways? Because they're like, connect the domain name, like, you know, we actually have to get ready to switch our domain name over, and it's always like, but tell us a little bit about that because that's a big deal.
Definitely. So your domain name, for those of you who don't have a website yet, that's your website URL. So that's the address people are typing into Google to find your website. So connecting that to your website is important because we want people to find it. But one of the challenges with that can be your email address. If you have your email address connected to it, sometimes your email service goes down if you do it the wrong way. Connecting it, making sure that it's secure, making sure that it's secure. So I don't know if you guys notice when you visit a website, if you go to Google and visit a website, you'll see a little padlock next to the URL that says, hey, this site is secure. And if you don't see that, Google's going to flag your site and be like, hey, do you really want to go to this site? Do you trust this site?
It's a little pop-up. It's like, this website looks sus.
Yeah, so we don't want that. So that's taking care of all of those technical bits and pieces that people kind of overlook, but it's super important to Google. And especially when it comes to your professional email address, it's super important to make sure people can contact you and that your emails are coming in and going out.
And it's not so easy. Like somebody mentioned, okay, like where do you go for domain names? I would say I always go to GoDaddy.com. There are other places. I mean, register.com I think is still much more expensive. But like you look under the hoods of these things where it's like connect your website and it's not pretty. It's definitely designed by the same Google engineers who designed Gmail. Like it's not cute and it's not easy to navigate. So that I think in and of itself is so valuable, independent of the template and the AI tool and the worksheet that you've already given away. I just want to say this was super helpful. I totally packed with a lot of information. One thing I would say, which I've seen, which I think is really cute, is if you guys have business cards, you might want to consider putting a QR code on the back of the business card or somewhere where it links directly to your website. So everybody doesn't have to type it in, but that was really important. And I love the fact that you gave us like these 5 little mini strategies to do. Because we all have so much, right? Like it's all like there's like waves of information and data and client work and 3 children at home. And, you know, this stuff takes time. It's just like, you know, first you buy the lot, which is your domain name. And then you like put up the frame of the house and then you paint the walls, which might be like, you know, updating some SEO stuff or writing some blog posts. You know, it just takes time. It's like when you move into a house, you know, it's like first you put the stuff in the closets and then you reorganize the closets and then you start with the landscaping outside. So it just takes time. And I think that she's absolutely right where it's just like, just focus on one thing. Update. The easiest one for me was just go to all your social profiles and make sure your website's in there. That's like, you could do that by the end of the day today. you know? So I loved that. I also really do, I'm gonna close my door now, so I had to get a little fresh air, but I have somebody here doing ornamental landscaping outside to tie it back. Um, I once posted on Facebook, and this is quite a long time ago. It's probably like 8 years ago. And I posted something maybe a touch snarky, and I don't want anybody to get offended here. But I posted, I was like, if you are approaching me to do business with me in the year 2014 or whatever it is, and you don't have a website, I don't, I didn't say like I'm not going to take you seriously. I was like, it leaves me confused. And I had a friend who's a very, very talented videographer, has done amazing work. He got really angry at me. And I'm like, but you're a videographer. How could you not have a website to display all of your magnificent work? So I think what you're saying here about it being a 24/7 marketing tool is crucial. And I think it's a very sophisticated way to look at it versus just looking at it as like, oh, it's just another place to share my bio.
Hmm.
It's really for you to share how you help people, because that's what they're doing. They're looking to solve a problem, and the language on your site needs to address that. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and the other thing I would say is like the languaging is important, right? Like we're moving out of this bookkeeper, accountant into the CAS professional, CAS pros, client advisory services stuff. So that's something to think about when you're building your copy. I'd love to hear about what you think makes a great client, or um, sort of how, just a little bit about that. Like what makes somebody successful when they embark upon building out this website using one of your templates. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'd say that my clients, the clients that have had the best success were the ones that were fully committed to doing what it took to make it work. So they did the work to clarify their marketing message. They said, hey, I'm not exactly sure what I want to niche in just yet, but I'm going to think about it and figure it out. Or I decided that I don't want to niche down. I'm just going to focus on local clients right now. And they went all in with that. So I would say being clear on who you want to help and understanding that a niche isn't just an industry. I know people say, I don't want to tie myself down to a certain industry. That's one way to niche down, but another one could be just the type of software you use. You might say, hey, I
Mhm.
only do QuickBooks, or hey, I specialize in doing cleanups, I specialize in doing diagnostic reviews. That's a niche in itself if you just focus on a certain outcome that you want to help clients achieve. Another thing when it comes to niching, because I think the biggest thing is just being clear on who you want to help. Because if you're not clear on who you want to help and you say, I want to try to help everybody, it's not going to get you the results you really want, because then your messaging can't be tailored to a specific person in mind. Does
Mhm.
that answer the question, Justine?
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
does. I mean, I just in how I operate in my own business now and how I operated in Good Sense was, I learned from every bad client I ever had. That client that I had to chase for paperwork, who didn't communicate, who never responded to an email until all of a sudden, they had some nasty letter from the IRS. And what I took from that experience was when I hired contractors to write copy for me, to create a website, to partner with me on marketing, as part of our discovery call, our initial call, I would always ask them, what makes your best client? And hands down, everybody said, nobody's ever asked me that before. And my approach was, if you can tell me how to be your best client and I behave that way, you're going to deliver your best work.
Hmm.
Always works. Um, I had some other little notes. Oh, I loved what you said about like your inbox being a repository of information for marketing. If you head out of a client meeting and that client says something to you like, wow, this was really helpful, or I have never had this, I've never understood my books until now. Like that's a great thing for you to then bring to LinkedIn. Maybe not that same day. but sometime in the next, few weeks or whatever, anonymously, of course, and use that to story tell. I was speaking with a client last week and they were in a fit of tears because they received bad advice and XYZ happened. And then these are the results I got by doing this. It's very different than people putting up, hey, it's April 15th, it's time to file your personal tax deadlines. That's a helpful post. It's not a storytelling and results-based post.
Mm-hmm.
It's a compliance post, a 415 post. This post is talking about how you solve problems. Let's talk about copy. So somebody buys your template, they decide to partner with you. Tell us about the AI tool that you have, copy, etc. I'd love a little clarity and illumination around that.
Absolutely. So once you complete that website messaging questionnaire, I created like a custom chat GPT to all you have to do was upload that completed questionnaire, and it's going to give you like an overview of your brand. So it's going to say, hey, after reading all of this information you gave me, this is what I understand about your business. This is the type of clients you want to reach. This is your tone of voice. This is the type of I guess like your personality type and how we want the messaging to come across. So it's going to give you an overview of your business, so kind of like a brand overview. And from there, once you say, hey, yes, this sounds right, this is how I want to sound, then it's going to write the copy for you. And that's an important step because a lot of people kind of use ChatGPT and it comes out super generic, super
Mm.
robotish. It's not custom to your tone of voice, the type of language you use, or anything like that. So the fact that you're using this questionnaire and then the Chat GPT bot is kind of customized so that it takes that information and figures out your tone of voice is going to make sure that your content comes out not sounding robotish, but kind of coming out sounding more like you, but a more like polished and refined version of your marketing message. So it
Um,
takes a lot of the hard work out.
I love that. If you are in the nest, if you're one of our nesties, you can go to the ICA, the Ideal Customer Avatar exercise, and you can upload that document with Chatsoni's worksheet, and then you'll get double bang for your buck because now her custom chat GPT has two resources to look at, right? That
Mhm.
you do that. Yeah. So that's a really, if you have anything that identifies your client, now it's going to have two resources to pull from and draft that copy. I know
Mhm.
many of you guys are here are AI proficient, ChatGPT literate, you're using the things all the time. One of the things that people don't realize, or I feel like they don't understand quite yet, is you can push back. You can say, I don't like this copy at all. Try again. Or this is too playful. I need you to strike a balance between being playful and being professional. Um, my favorite thing to tell ChatGPT as I give it its instructions is do not use emojis. I'm like, it's like the whole thing, it's just like speaks like a picture book. I'm like, just
Yeah.
don't use emojis, please. So just know that if you don't get the results that you want the first time, keep pushing back, refine, refine, refine. So we have a question from Brittany. Brittany says, I own my domain name already and have a website, but would like to have help with it. Do you use existing domains when utilizing the website in a box, or is that more for people who don't have any sort of website yet? Oh, question answered. Never mind. Are you sure? Let's revisit that again.
Yeah, so if you already have a domain name, I can absolutely connect it to the website in the box if you decide to use that template. So you don't have to start over and try to brainstorm a whole new website URL or anything like that. We can take the one that you currently have and connect it.
Great. Also, too, for our people who are brand new to building websites, there's a couple of stages here, right? So the first is purchasing your domain name, right? So I have JustineLackey.com. I used to own Good Sense Management, Good Sense Bookkeeping, every different iteration of Good Sense, by the way. It's Good Sense, my Good Sense. I am known to hoard domain names, but that's your first step is purchasing a domain name. The second step, well, maybe this, I'm not going to get all the steps in order. Thank God we have an expert here. But then you have to host your website, right? So your
Mhm.
website has to live on a server out there in the world so that when somebody from Istanbul is looking for bookkeeping, they can find your website. So your website is not living on your computer, it is living with what's called a website host. So if you're using WordPress, WordPress engine is a big website host. If you purchase your domain name from GoDaddy, GoDaddy is a host. There are many different hosts out there. Being selective about that is important. I had some janky hosts in the beginning, and I think one of like my biggest debacles, I haven't really told this story a lot, but I was a contributing writer for a website for the Daily Worth, which was a very big women's money financial website. And I did an interview with Mike Michalowicz, who most of you guys would know at this point. He is the writer of Profit First. I was one of his very first certified Profit First professionals, but I did a front page news article, and I think Daily Word at some point had 1 million email subscribers. And this website, this article about Mike Michalowicz and Profit First Professional goes out on the day that my website went down. That was a hosting issue. I know. I'm like, I'm surprised I'm not red in the face. So what your host is important. And then comes the build, right? So then comes a website, a template like we have today. So those are a couple of different things that you have to understand. It's not just enough to buy the domain name. You have to purchase hosting services, and then you have to build the website on the host. You have to install it, I guess you would call it. Yeah. So, with the host, that's where all the connection of the email and all that stuff comes through, right? More or less.
Yeah. Yep. So what I try to tell people, think of your domain name, your website URL, think of that as your mailbox. Think of the plot of land as being your hosting, and then your website is what you're building on top of the land.
Mhm.
That's the easy way to kind of think of it.
Much easier than I just explained it. Okay, so Lisa, Christy asked, what if we already have hosting? So Lisa, do you mean like what if you have hosting, you have a domain name, but you don't have a website? I don't know if she's still here. But what if you have a website? All right, so Rebecca Williams also asked the same thing, but if you already have hosting, how does that work? So, all right, so let's say somebody already has their website, they have a host, and they have their website. Your template comes in and replaces their existing website, correct?
Yes, so it's all in one thing. So it includes the hosting. So it includes the hosting setup and the template. So if you already have a hosting provider and you have a hosting subscription, you'd be able to cancel that and move forward.
Okay. So she's giving you a whole kit and caboodle minus the domain name.
Yes.
Morella says, I can't access the questionnaire. Does anybody have this problem? Anybody else having a problem accessing the questionnaire? If you are, please raise your hands. Let's see. You're going to be prompted to make a copy. Lisa, I have all three, but I may want to rebuild the site. Yes. Okay. Morella, if you continue to have problems, email us at support@justinelackey.com and we will make sure that you get taken care of. Rebecca said, so would we have to switch to your hosting and cancel our current hosting?
Yes, for the website in the box, you would be, unless you want to look into, I guess, migrating it over to your existing host. And I know some hosts charge a fee for that. That wouldn't be something that I do. That would be something you go through your host and say, hey, I purchased a new site. Can you migrate it over? And I typically wouldn't recommend going that route because the hosting that I do have set up is more secure and better for SEO than I know a lot of people currently use, like DreamHost and Bluehost. I know those can be a bit clunky and slow when it comes to SEO and getting ranked on Google. So the one that I use and set up and recommend to my clients is already optimized for that, which is why that's already included in part of the setup.
And I know that you've taken great care to vet the host that you're working with, unlike my not vetting process. I should just say that. Can you use your current domain name? That came
Absolutely.
Yes, you can. Mine's through Canva and not my favorite. Brittany, you mean your website is through Canva? I lost you on my screen here. probably. Okay.
Yes, it's through Canva. It was one of those things because I was really unfamiliar with what to do. So kind of, walked myself through it.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck there because I have to have the hosting. Otherwise, what's the point of having a domain? So, and I don't know a lot about the different hosting. So this is very informative. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy I could help. And if you have any other questions, I'm not sure. I haven't migrated or connected a Canva domain, so I can do some research for that.
Awesome. Lisa says, if you have a website already and redo, does the SEO start all over?
Nope, it doesn't have to start all over. Well, you can take the existing, well, the SEO is based off of the content that you have written. So
Mhm.
just taking if you wanted to take your existing content and put it with the new site, then it wouldn't have an impact.
So I have a question. Any thoughts around SEO and AI, right? Because now we're all getting those AI summaries, and I know that's hot in sort of the AI entrepreneurial space. Like, is SEO still relevant? How is it going to be relevant, etc.?
So my answer might not be the most popular. I feel like when you're just starting out, SEO is a long-term game. The best way to get results with SEO is through blogging consistently and driving traffic to your website that way. And that can take like 6 months or more to get results from. And that's really time intensive. So I feel like a lot of people just starting out, it's a lot more short-term benefits you can get from social media marketing, email marketing, and focusing on those because it's a lot shorter of a turnaround. And you can get good results that way because SEO is definitely a long-term game. And if you hire that out, then you can be very expensive. But the website in the box includes foundational SEO, just not the ongoing SEO of blogging. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and that's been the same too. Forever. It's just that's the other thing you should know is like you do have to refresh your website. Google likes fresh content. So
Yeah.
if you build your website today and don't change anything for the next 3 years, if somebody is searching for a website for plumbers, bookkeeper for plumbers, and you haven't updated your website, Google's not gonna serve you up first. So okay, Amy, so can you work with a website already created in Wix and hosted by Wix?
Currently, I do not. So the website in the box is specifically on WordPress, and that's intentional. The reason behind that is that WordPress is very flexible and scalable so that it can grow as your business grows instead of being a bit more confined as far as the flexibility with platforms like Wix or Squarespace.
Got it. Mary Beth, this is like, I guess, a website adjacent question, but she is asking, is social media a must?
No, I wouldn't say that it's a must. I feel if you're a virtual bookkeeper, that can definitely be like a quick and easy win is to focus on social media, but it really depends on where your ideal clients are. If your ideal clients are mostly doing in-person networking events and conferences, then you'll get better results from that if they're not on social media. But you don't really want to choose the marketing strategy that you're just comfortable with. You need to do the one that your ideal clients are currently implementing so that you can be found in the right place.
So I absolutely agree with you. And I share often that, and I think it just depends on how active you are on social. We didn't have something awesome like the social accountant when we were starting, right? I had to generate all my own content. But I never saw a ton of results from, and LinkedIn wasn't possible, really, not wasn't possible, wasn't popular when I was running Good Sense. So I spent a lot of money, time, and energy on Instagram and Facebook, spending money on Facebook ads with very little results. I think you could, like, even if you advertise in a local paper because you want to keep you want to keep your business hyper local. And I think that's a strategy, even if you are a virtual bookkeeper, that's going to be a better money, time, and energy effort. Like, great place to look. Go to every single high school in your county and ask to advertise in their fall and spring plays and their little playbills. Like, it's probably like $25, but you never know. So I don't think is a must. I think it's really, really important to think about where is your client going to go to find a bookkeeper. We have an amazing member of Evolve, which is my mastermind, and she's like 3x her business by working conferences and doing public speaking. It's an amazing strategy. So, okay, I was late. Hey, Anna, there you are. Hello. I was late to the game, and I'm looking at an example of a website. Can you change font and the look of the website?
Where is the site currently hosted? I might have missed that part.
Anna, are you looking at one of Chatsoni's websites? Or are you looking? Do you have a link for us? Are you looking at the link that we posted? Okay, why don't you come on? Unmute yourself, Anna.
Sorry, I was trying to type.
Problem.
Yes, I'm on the website in a box website.
Okay.
So I was just looking at the examples, and I wondered if we can change font and kind of the look of it, or is it just plug in your information and go?
Nope, you can change the logo, the fonts, the colors, of
Oh.
course, the images. You can replace everything on there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Onisa, hi, this has been awesome. Have to leave now. You're welcome. That was great. I hope you guys got some clarity. We've demystified websites, domain names, hosting, SEO. Chatsoni, it's always a pleasure. And I'm glad we got to do this together. I'm glad you
Me too.
this special offer for people because I think it's super valuable. And I invite you just even if you're just curious, you're like, okay, I don't want to like do this today. You should go to her website and scope out her work and like her 9,000 testimonials. I was like, you had that one on lock. I was like, it's like you got that. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoa, man, I need to like, I snag this strategy. But yeah, okay, beautiful. The demo link isn't working on her site, says Lisa. Ah, very helpful. Thank you. One last what was $32 a month? Social media content. This is
Yep, that was the social accountant.
social accountant. Here's
Mhm.
the Megan just ordered template. Lisa Christie, which demo link? Can you please provide the URL where you are so that we have that?
And Justine, I have a quick question for you. Would it be possible for me to get maybe like a copy of the transcript? Because I know we did go over the time and I have to hop out for another call, but I would love to answer each of these specific questions.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Thank you, my friends. Have a great day. See you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.